On April 16, 2025, a monumental announcement reverberated through the scientific community. Researchers, leveraging the unparalleled capabilities of the James Webb Space Telescope, JWST, reported a high probability of detecting signs of life on K2-18b, a distant exoplanet 124 light-years from Earth. This is not the opening of a science fiction novel, but a tangible leap in our quest to understand the universe. K2-18b, a super-Earth twice the size of our planet, has emerged as a beacon of intrigue, with its atmosphere revealing traces of dimethyl sulfide and dimethyl disulfide, chemicals exclusively produced by living organisms on Earth, such as bacteria and phytoplankton. The discovery, identified with a 99.7% confidence level, suggests that K2-18b may be teeming with life, offering the most compelling evidence to date that humanity is not alone in the cosmos. Yet, this revelation is only the beginning. Simultaneously, here on Earth, a fierce debate rages between the U.S. Congress and the Pentagon over unidentified aerial phenomena, UAP, with allegations of concealed non-human technologies and a history of government secrecy. This narrative weaves together the cosmic possibilities of extraterrestrial life with the terrestrial mysteries of UAP, inviting viewers to explore a story that challenges our understanding of reality and compels us to watch until the very end. The discovery on K2-18b is a watershed moment in astrobiology. Orbiting within the habitable zone of its star, K2-18, this exoplanet has long been a candidate for hosting life. The JWST's spectroscopic readings, which analyze the light passing through a planet's atmosphere to detect chemical signatures, revealed an astonishing concentration of dimethyl sulfide and dimethyl disulfide, over 20 times higher than levels found on Earth. On our planet, these sulfur compounds are metabolic byproducts of microbial life, found in environments ranging from ocean phytoplankton blooms to bacterial colonies in soil. Their presence on K2-18b, detected with near certainty, raises profound questions. Could this distant world harbor ecosystems akin to Earth's, or perhaps something entirely alien? The implications are staggering, suggesting that life may not be a rare fluke, but a common phenomenon across the universe. However, the scientific community urges caution. The universe is vast, and alternative explanations for these chemical signatures cannot be ruled out. Geological processes, though unlikely, could theoretically produce similar compounds under specific conditions not yet observed. The high confidence level of 99.7% is compelling, but it is not definitive proof. Researchers are planning follow-up observations with JWST to confirm these findings and search for additional biosignatures, such as methane or oxygen, which could further solidify the case for life. For now, K2-18b stands as a tantalizing possibility, a world that might host life forms ranging from simple microbes to complex organisms, challenging our assumptions about biology and the conditions necessary for life to thrive. The proximity of K2-18b, only 124 light-years away, a mere cosmic stone's throw, adds to the excitement. In the grand scale of the universe, where galaxies are separated by millions of light-years, this distance feels almost intimate. If life exists on K2-18b, it prompts a daring question. Could intelligent beings from such a planet have ventured to Earth? The idea is not as far-fetched as it seems, especially when viewed through the lens of recent terrestrial controversies surrounding UAP. The possibility of alien visitors has shifted from science fiction to a topic of serious discussion, fueled by credible whistleblowers, congressional hearings, and a growing body of evidence that something unexplained is occurring in our skies. In parallel with the K2-18b discovery, a terrestrial drama unfolds that could reshape our understanding of our place in the universe. The US Congress and the Pentagon are locked in a high-stakes confrontation over UAP, objects in the sky that defy conventional explanation. Once dismissed as the realm of conspiracy theorists, UAP have gained legitimacy through government acknowledgement and public hearings. In 2021, the Office of the Director of National Intelligence released a groundbreaking report on UAP, confirming their reality and their frequent interactions with US Navy pilots. These objects, observed in restricted airspace, exhibited flight characteristics that defy known technology: hypersonic speeds without sonic booms, instantaneous acceleration, and the ability to hover motionless against strong winds without visible propulsion. The 2021 report marked a turning point, transforming UAP from a fringe topic to a matter of national security. Pilots reported near collisions with these objects, prompting Congress to demand answers. In 2022, the Pentagon established the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, AARO, to investigate UAP using a scientific data-driven approach. ARO cataloged 510 cases, including the enigmatic Mosul orb observed over Iraq, but their initial findings disappointed many. In April 2023, ARO's first congressional hearing downplayed the anomalous nature of UAP, suggesting that most could be explained with sufficient data. This response echoed decades of government dismissals, fueling suspicions of a cover-up. Enter David Grush, a former intelligence officer with 14 years of service in the Air Force and National Geospatial Intelligence Agency. In 2023, Grush became a whistleblower, testifying before Congress that the U.S. military was operating a secret UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program without congressional oversight. His claims, deemed credible by the Inspector General of the intelligence community, were explosive. The government possessed non-human craft, and AARO was complicit in concealing this knowledge. Grush's testimony was not motivated by personal gain. He risked his career and reputation, yet he insisted that the lack of transparency was a violation of democratic principles. The Pentagon's response has done little to quell suspicions. For 7 years, it has failed every financial audit, unable to account for billions in spending, raising the possibility that secret programs could exist within these financial black holes. Historical precedents, such as Project Blue Book, which ran from 1947 to 1969, lend credence to these concerns. Blue Book, tasked with investigating UFOs, was criticized by its own scientists, including J. Allen Hynek, for prioritizing debunking over inquiry. A notable case from 1966 involved Ohio police chasing a glowing egg-shaped object across 2 states, only for Blue Book to dismiss it as Venus, a claim Hynek refuted, noting Venus was in the wrong part of the sky. The past few years have seen a surge in UAP-related incidents that defy easy explanation. In February 2023, a Chinese spy balloon traversed U.S. airspace, captured in high-resolution images before being shot down. Yet 3 subsequent objects detected by military radar were also downed, with no clear imagery or wreckage recovered. Canada released a grainy photo of one object, speculated to be a hobbyist balloon, but the lack of transparency fueled public skepticism. Similarly, in 2023 and 2024, large drones appeared over sensitive military sites, including bases in New Jersey, the UK, and Australia. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, claimed these flights were authorized, yet their behavior, evading radar, shining lights as if to be seen, and resisting capture, suggested otherwise. Congress, frustrated by the Pentagon's stonewalling, passed a law in 2023 mandating the release of all UAP-related files, specifically those involving non-human intelligence. The phrase non-human intelligence in a congressional bill is itself a historic milestone, yet efforts to block this legislation hint at deeper secrets. The Pentagon denies operating hidden UAP programs, but its refusal to share satellite footage and other data has only intensified congressional resolve. In 2024, hearings revealed allegations of a program called Immaculate Constellation, which purportedly documented UAP incidents, including F-22 jets being outmaneuvered by orbs, a glowing object inducing trance-like states in a naval crew, and a massive saucer-shaped craft detected on infrared satellite imagery. Adding to the intrigue, ufologist Jeremy Corbell released a video in 2025 allegedly showing a large UAP making a sharp 90-degree turn, aligning with the Immaculate Constellation account. While unverified, the footage underscores the growing body of evidence that something extraordinary is occurring. Meanwhile, a NASA-collaborated podcast, Ecosystemic Futures, featured Richard Bendurek, a former engineer who casually described working on UAP reverse engineering projects involving materials that disintegrated upon interaction. The setting, a NASA-affiliated platform, lent an air of legitimacy to these claims, suggesting that the scientific community is beginning to take UAP seriously. As the debate over UAP intensifies, a new figure has emerged with claims that push the boundaries of credibility. In January 2025, Jake Barber, a former military pilot, announced he had worked on classified UAP transport missions. Unlike Grush, who relied on secondhand information, Barber claimed first-hand encounters, including transporting an egg-shaped UAP in a desert. He described an overwhelming emotional connection with the object, as if it communicated with him spiritually. Later, he alleged that exposure to UAP UAP or their technology cause symptoms akin to radiation poisoning, a diagnosis supported by ufologist and immunologist Gary Nolan. Barber's story takes an even stranger turn. After leaving the military, he founded Skywatcher, a company attempting to replicate UAP encounters using psionic methods, mental outreach, to connect with these phenomena. Barber claims that UAP respond to psychic signals and can be summoned using a device he calls a dog whistle. His team boasts a near 100% success rate in calling UAP, a bold assertion supported by grainy footage that skeptics argue could depict balloons or birds. Remarkably, Barber suggests that the US government employs similar methods, citing the CIA's Project Stargate, 1975 to 1995, which explored psychic phenomena like remote viewing. Former President Jimmy Carter's anecdote about a remote viewer locating a crashed plane in Africa lends some historical weight to these claims, though the idea of UAP responding to psychic calls remains controversial. To test Barber's hypothesis, an experiment was conducted on the South Wales coast, using the CE5 protocol, a method advocated by some ufologists for contacting UAP through meditation and goodwill. Equipped with a Sony A1 camera and a 600mm lens, the experiment involved hours of meditation and skywatching, but yielded no results. The absence of UAP could indicate a flaw in the method, a lack of skill, or simply no UAP in the vicinity. A minor anomaly, sunburn, and a headache experienced by one participant could be attributed to mundane causes like sun exposure, though it echoes Barber's radiation claims. The discovery of potential biosignatures on K2-18b opens a new chapter in humanity's search for extraterrestrial life, but it also challenges us to redefine what we consider life. The high concentrations of dimethyl sulfide and dimethyl disulfide suggest a robust biological process, yet the exact nature of this life remains speculative. On Earth, these compounds are tied to microbial activity, but K2-18b's unique environment, potentially a water-rich world with a thick atmosphere, could support life forms that differ radically from terrestrial biology. Scientists speculate that K2-18b may be a Hyson planet, a class of exoplanets with hydrogen-rich atmospheres and vast oceans, which could foster life in ways we have yet to imagine. The JWST's ability to detect such faint signals from 124 light-years away underscores the technological leaps that have brought us to this point, but it also highlights the limitations of our current understanding. Future missions, such as the proposed Habitable Worlds Observatory, could provide clearer insights by directly imaging exoplanets or analyzing their atmospheres with even greater precision. The cultural and philosophical ramifications of confirming life on K2-18b are profound. For centuries, humanity has gazed at the stars, wondering if we are alone. A positive confirmation would upend religious, scientific, and societal frameworks, prompting questions about the origins of life and our place in the universe. Would such life resemble Earth's, or would it challenge our definitions of biology, consciousness, and intelligence? The possibility that K2-18b hosts complex organisms, perhaps even intelligent ones, fuels speculation about interstellar communication or contact. While 124 light-years is close in cosmic terms, it remains an insurmountable barrier with current technology, making direct exploration a distant dream. Yet, the mere possibility of life so nearby invigorates efforts to develop advanced propulsion systems, such as those explored by NASA's Breakthrough Propulsion Physics program, which could one day bridge the gap between stars. The current UAP controversy is not an isolated phenomenon, but part of a long history of government investigations into unexplained aerial phenomena. Projects like Sign, Grudge, and Blue Book, initiated in the late 1940s, were ostensibly designed to study UFOs, but often served to dismiss sightings with implausible explanations. The 1966 Ohio incident, where police chased a glowing object mistaken for Venus, exemplifies the skepticism that plagued these efforts. J. Allen Hynek, a key figure in Blue Book, later became a vocal critic, arguing that the program ignored compelling evidence in favor of public reassurance. This history of obfuscation lends weight to modern claims of a cover-up, as does the Pentagon's consistent failure to account for its spending. The creation of ARO in 2022 was meant to rectify past failures, but its dismissive stance has only deepened distrust, particularly among congressional leaders who feel excluded from critical information. The evolution of UAP terminology, from UFO to UAP, reflects reflects a broader shift in perception. The term UFO carries decades of stigma associated with little green men and tabloid sensationalism. UAP, by contrast, is a neutral descriptor that encompasses a range of phenomena, from advanced technology to natural anomalies. This rebranding has allowed serious discussion to enter mainstream discourse, as evidenced by the 2021 Pentagon report and subsequent congressional hearings. Yet the lack of transparency persists, with the Pentagon's reluctance to share high-resolution imagery or detailed data fueling speculation. The 2023 law mandating the release of UAP files is a step toward accountability, but the slow pace of compliance and the absence of concrete evidence keep the public in the dark, perpetuating a cycle of suspicion and intrigue. Whistleblowers like David Grush and Jake Barber have become central to the UAP debate, their testimonies challenging the status quo and forcing public reckoning. Grush's credentials and measured demeanor lend credibility to his claims, despite their secondhand nature. His assertion that a secret program exists outside congressional oversight resonates with historical patterns of government secrecy, such as the Manhattan Project or the development of stealth technology. Barber's claims, while more sensational, add a personal dimension, describing visceral encounters that blur the line between technology and consciousness. Both men risk professional and personal repercussions, yet their willingness to speak out suggests a belief in the public's right to know. Their stories, while unproven, align with a growing chorus of voices, from retired admirals to NASA administrators who claim knowledge of non-human phenomena. The whistleblower phenomenon raises critical questions about evidence and trust. In an era where deepfakes and misinformation abound, first-hand accounts are both valuable and vulnerable to skepticism. Grush's lack of direct evidence and Barber's reliance on grainy footage and psionic claims highlight the challenge of substantiating extraordinary assertions. Yet, the consistency of their narratives with other reports, such as the Immaculate Constellation accounts, suggests a pattern that cannot be easily dismissed. The Pentagon's failure to engage transparently with these claims, coupled with its history of financial opacity, lends credence to the idea that something is being concealed, whether it is alien technology, advanced human projects, or something else entirely. The whistleblower's courage in coming forward, despite potential ridicule, underscores the urgency of resolving these mysteries. The UAP phenomenon extends beyond military and political spheres, touching on science, culture, and human psychology. Scientifically, UAP challenge our understanding of physics with reported behaviors, such as instantaneous acceleration or cloaking capabilities, defying known aerodynamic principles. If these objects are technological, they could represent a leap beyond current human capabilities, prompting researchers to revisit concepts like anti-gravity or warp drives, once relegated to science fiction. The involvement of figures like Richard Bendurek, who claims experience with smart materials that evade analysis, suggests that UAP could spur breakthroughs in materials science or propulsion technology. Even if UAP are not extraterrestrial, their study could yield innovations, much like the space race drove advancements in computing and telecommunications. Culturally, UAP tap into humanity's fascination with the unknown, resonating with myths of gods, angels, and visitors from the stars. The 2021 Pentagon report and subsequent hearings have destigmatize the topic, encouraging open dialogue among scientists, policymakers, and the public. However, this openness also risks sensationalism, as media outlets and influencers amplify unverified claims. The CE5 experiment, while unsuccessful, reflects a growing subculture that blends spirituality and science, seeking direct contact with UAP through meditation and intention. This movement, while fringe, underscores the human desire to connect with something greater, whether it is alien intelligence or a deeper understanding of reality. The challenge lies in balancing this curiosity with rigorous skepticism, ensuring that speculation does not outpace evidence. The UAP phenomenon represents a unique intersection of rigorous science and speculative inquiry, challenging researchers to navigate uncharted territory. The behaviors reported in UAP incidents, objects moving at hypersonic speeds without sonic booms or performing maneuvers that defy inertia, suggest technologies far beyond current human capabilities. Scientists like Avi Loeb, a Harvard astrophysicist, argue that these anomalies warrant serious investigation, potentially pointing to extraterrestrial origins or advanced terrestrial extraterrestrial projects. The Pentagon's reluctance to release high-fidelity data, such as radar or infrared imagery, hampers scientific progress, forcing researchers to rely on anecdotal reports and low-quality footage. Initiatives like the Galileo project, launched in 2021, aim to address this gap by deploying advanced sensors to systematically study UAP, but such efforts remain underfunded and marginalized compared to mainstream astronomy. Public fascination with UAP, amplified by social media and popular culture, adds complexity to the scientific endeavor. Platforms like X have become hubs for UAP discussion, with users sharing alleged sightings and analyzing grainy videos. While this democratizes the conversation, it also muddies the waters as unverified claims and hoaxes proliferate. The 2025 Corbell video, for instance, sparked heated debate on X, with some users hailing it as proof of alien craft and others dismissing it as a balloon or digital artifact. This polarization underscores the need for a standardized, transparent approach to UAP research, one that integrates military data, civilian observations, and academic rigor. Until such a framework exists, the line between science and speculation will remain blurred, leaving the public to grapple with tantalizing but inconclusive evidence. While the UAP debate is most prominent in the United States, it is far from a uniquely American issue. Reports of unexplained aerial phenomena have emerged worldwide, from the 2023 drone sightings in Australia to unexplained lights over Brazil in 2024. In the UK, the Ministry of Defense has faced similar scrutiny, with declassified files from the 1990s revealing investigations into objects exhibiting advanced flight characteristics. China, too, has reported UAP incidents, with its military acknowledging unexplained radar signatures in the South China Sea. These global accounts suggest that UAP are a planetary concern, potentially involving technologies or phenomena that transcend national boundaries. Yet international cooperation on UAP research remains limited, with governments hesitant to share sensitive data due to security concerns. The global nature of UAP incidents raises questions about their origins and implications. Are these objects the product of a single nation's secret technology, or do they represent a broader phenomenon? The lack of coordination among nations complicates efforts to understand UAP, as does the varying degree of transparency across governments. For instance, while the US has held public hearings, other nations like Russia remain tight-lipped, fueling speculation about their involvement. Grassroots efforts, such as the international CE5 community, attempt to bypass governmental gatekeeping by encouraging civilian-led contact initiatives, but these lack the resources and credibility of official investigations. A unified global approach, perhaps under the auspices of the United Nations, could accelerate progress, but geopolitical tensions make such collaboration unlikely in the near term. The possibility of extraterrestrial life, whether on K2-18b or visiting Earth as UAP, raises profound ethical and societal questions. If intelligent beings are behind UAP, what are their intentions, and how should humanity respond? Historical analogies, like European contact with indigenous peoples, located a few paragraphs below. I notice you've asked for 2 additional paragraphs to be added to the existing document. Since the artifact already contains a substantial amount of content, I'll add 2 new paragraphs that expand on the themes of K2-18b and the UAP controversy, ensuring they are engaging, compliant with YouTube community guidelines, and seamlessly integrated into the narrative. These paragraphs will delve deeper into the technological advancements enabling the K2-18b discovery and the psychological impact of UAP sightings on military personnel and the public, maintaining the tone and depth of the existing text.